Okay, good morning. I'm Eowyn, the CEO of Trust Wallet. I'm so excited to be here because this is actually my first time in Australia. And I made it to the Australia Crypto Convention here. Before I dive in, I just wanted to get a feel of the audience here. How many of you are deep into the crypto industry, building, or advanced users? Can you raise hands? Okay. How many of you are just curious about the industry and then you're here to learn more? Half and half. Oh, great. We got a very diverse crowd. Then how many of you use self-custody wallets? Oh, okay. The majority of you, that would save me some time of knowledge or introduction. And how many of you know or use Trust Wallet? I see. Okay, so I got some conversion to do. Looks like to increase our market share. Okay, for those of you who are interested in learning more about crypto or self-custody, just a very quick line. Very different from banks, where the banks holds the assets of your money. Self-custody wallet doesn't actually hold anything of your assets. In fact, we're more of a software to help you to manage your keys on the blockchain and then interact with the blockchain directly. So we're more like a gateway. And this, I think I look at the agenda, there are also some great speakers have already talked about Web3 wallet and self-custody. So I'm going to do a little bit different presentation today. Instead of being expected to talk more about the product or the technical aspect, I'm actually here wanting to share some recent reflections that I have about I think how we can touch about something deeply human to move towards the next chapter of our industry for adoption. And that is, as I titled, trust. How do we earn trust in a trustless industry? So I'm going to start with an image. Imagine a bridge. This is just any bridge. It is one that spans across a turbulent sea. And then it leads to a promised land of a treasure island. We can call it Web3 Isle. There were great opportunities, freedom, but the way to there seems a little bit challenging. Despite the waves, the shaky bridge, and a lot of the people were standing on the sideline, just watching. And there were only a few that made it to the promised land. And then in the blockchain world, I think many of the people, of you guys sitting down here, is actually the brave few. And I think the key reason is because when we kind of share to the world and be very proud of the bridge that we build, no matter being the blockchain, the decentralized applications, the wallets, what we have always emphasized is that it's a trustless system with full transparency, a structure that we think everyone can test and examine and then build confidence themselves. But in reality, only few people have the time, discipline, and conquering the human nature to scrutinize every detail of the bridge and the product that we build, because ultimately, we're human. Then I said, we're building the trustless system, but today I will argue a pure trustless system alone is not a scalable one for human adoption, if that's our vision and the dream. And so today, I will share some stories and reflections for my professional experiences and journey in the Web3 space, and that I reach a conclusion that trust has been the cornerstone, the secret sauce, especially among the different market conditions, to help projects in the industry to grow. And then this might also be the key foundation for us to build for the future. So the first one that I want to talk about is how trust can sustain the growth through the market cycle. And here I will cite some stories on the Trust Wallet side because I'm most familiar with it. Many of you know that since last year in 2022, we have been a very long and brutal bear market. This is our second bear market for Trust Wallet since our inception in the 2017. And we find that without the hype and the fear of missing out as noises, as long as we can sustain our team, it's the best time to build. You probably heard that tons of time, but we have been able to deliver it. So at Trust Wallet, we've been purifying ourselves to be a true multi-chain wallet and a Web3 gateway. And our focus has been on how to serve the users better. And for the past few years, what the users want is to be able to get to the different multi-chain environment very well. So during the bear market, we have revamped our tech architecture and the infrastructure to scale the network coverages better. And we cover ecosystems like EVMs, Cosmos, moves, languages. So since last year, we've grown from 50 chains to now close to 100. And this is also at a faster pace to scale because of the infrastructures that we have. And surprisingly, it's not just what we have on the tech side scale. We actually grow in the bear market too. So this is a little number just to give a sense. Right now, we're the largest decentralized mobile wallet on Earth. We have about totally 17 million total downloads. And if I look at the details, in fact, more than half of it happened since the bear market last year. And not only so, we find that despite our competition increased 10 times because everyone wants to build an easier to use wallet gateway to the blockchain, our weekly active users market share actually doubled from 20% to 40% globally. And in fact, when I look at the numbers, we're about close to 50% in Australia. So thank you for the community support here. But then I was wondering, why? How? With fierce competition, and how come we grow more? Because there are fancier wallets out there. They have better UI, looking better UX. So what makes us able to stand out? And ultimately, I get the answer when I was chatting to users in person. It's about trust. The trust that they think we are on top of our securities. We have high standards of our operations, that we can stand through times, is what makes people keep coming back to us because we give them a peace of mind. Sure, they can jump to any of the fancier, flashier app with tons of bells and whistles, but they said, how can they trust? How long they can trust those applications? So in the end, they still make Trust Wallet the home base, no matter where they venture to in the ecosystem of the blockchain. So then I realized the good code is just the first step. For us to have the leadership in the industry for the past 6 years, it was the trust that leads to the long-term growth, regardless of the market condition. But it is really difficult to build trust. It requires a consistent commitment to high standards, especially in security. And then just for example, a lot of those work are behind the scene, hardly known by anyone. Even with this year, we have more than 50 audits up to date to ensure that our code is secure. And not only so, it's not just our own code. For example, we also have an open source mobile wallet library called Wallet Core that we support the industry's builders to build other mobile wallets too. To better scale the open source project to support the industry growth, we had an initiative this year to migrate it from C++ language to Rust so that it's more widely accepted. This is just an example that we realized that a lot of the other building blocks in the Rust libraries actually, in fact, were never audited, were audited well. So even though those are not our own code, but if we wanted to have the right infrastructures to build, both for our own product and potentially for other developers who build on top of our open source projects, we took the initiatives to audit all of them so that we feel confident that we can use the code. No one knows it, or probably a lot of people don't care about it, but that gives us the peace of mind, that gives us the confidence that was able to keep me sleep at night and not worry about potential security vulnerabilities that's happening. And this is just an example. But there are many of such instances that happens behind the scene to ensure that code is just the beginning, but having the trust through security has many more efforts. However, no matter how much that we audit the code, I would say there's no 100% perfection. There's no perfection ever to anything that we do. It's always about risk management. But sometimes the key is users don't expect full perfection. It's not heaven on earth. But then it's all about when mistakes happen, when hiccups happen, how do you handle it? How do you make it right? And how do you face that with transparency? And this is my other stories. When I first come into the Web3 industry, I got the fortune to work at Binance and experience how the users grew from 10 million to 100 million there. And in fact, in the 2018, 2019, even the world's biggest exchange at that time, it doesn't necessarily have the most stable technology all over due to higher load. I remember during that times, I constantly, maybe every other week, I have to wake up 2 a.m., 3 a.m., putting all my community teams together, and then just stay in Telegram groups, telling users, keep them informed, here's the system's hiccup, what's the ETA to fix, their assets are safe, don't fall for scams, for people who want to take advantage of hiccups like this just to cheat people out of their money. It was hard work. But it was a lot of passion in the team. It's not about having the perfect system, but the users trust us. And then trust Binance, because we keep them informed, we give them the information, we give them the comfort that we're acting upon it. And sometimes trust is hard, but trust could also be simple, but it requires a lot of the work. And you have to do that again and again. It's more than just one market cycle. You have to do it to sustain and look for the next 10 years, 20 years, or even a century. But it's really worth it, because a key takeaway that I want any builders sitting here to take away is, once you have trust, it will become the best user retention strategy that you will have in any of the challenging market condition. And then here's my second argument, is I think trust can be the foundation for innovation. And I'm going to argue that with Trustless. So if any of you guys are familiar with crypto industry history, you will be like, no, it's the Trustless that gives birth to the industry and promote innovation. Indeed, it is the disillusionment of the conventional financial system in 2008 that gave the birth to Bitcoin, a system that is designed for peer-to-peer transparency that can operate without a mediator in the middle and not based on trust. However, as Bitcoin slowly gets support, and then we also venture into other type of blockchain utilities like programmable assets, why the adoption happened is that the trust has shifted from the traditional system to the code-based decentralized system. It's not about the absence of trust. It's just reshifting and reshaping of the trust. And I joined the crypto industry also in 2018 bear market. That was the time the majority of the people choose to leave. And what kept me staying here and coming in is because I know the people that I trust, some of the great business leaders, the developers that I respected, are still keeping the faith of building something that they see the value of an alternative, transparent financial systems and programmable assets. And then the stimulus for me to join was also a vision that at that time Binance's co-founder Yi shared with me, that blockchain have the best potential to become the value transfer system for the internet and enable the free flow of values that internet does to information. So at that time, nothing has been realized, if you know the history. It was until 2019 that Uniswap has the AMM decentralized model that pushes the industries into the future of the possibility of transparent financial systems without a middleman. So then what kept people here? What kept the birth of a lot of those inventions? It was the trust to that vision. It was the leap of faith that keeps people building. And then at Trust Wallet, we take a different approach. The trust that made us push forward is we want to build trust and bridge between the people to the blockchain. So in 2017, when Trust Wallet was born, that was the time that the most of the wallets was just developer tools happening on the desktop. And then at that time, I was in San Francisco. Half of the guys in the city are talking about some sort of shitcoin. But then that was not accessible to all. It was to the few. It was for the people who understand the technology, who knows how to operate complicated tools, to have the leg up to the opportunities. And that was how Trust Wallet was invented. Our founder just wanted to build a simple tool that can serve the tech plebeian, the commoners, people who doesn't need to understand the difficulties of the blockchain and a lot of the technical details and can hold all the shitcoins in their mobile, on their phone. It was just that simple vision. But the simple vision is about how to bridge the understanding, how to make the complex things simple, and then make the complex things accessible. And that is the foundation of Trustless building. And then do that with every interaction, just for the everyday man. So for us, innovation thrives when we keep our mind to serve who we intend to serve. So that's been the guiding principle for Trust Wallet. That's in the world when there are a lot of competition, a lot of different takes about what is the best wallet, security, easiness. For us, we know who we serve are the everyday people. We want to be the bridge, and then we evolve with it. And then we always keep the principle for us is simplifying. The blockchain world is complicated enough. How to make it simple, how to choose what not to do, actually becomes very important to have the foundation of trust and understanding build with the adoption. And now 6 years in, our journey continues. We're more than just an Ethereum Maxi mobile wallet. We also have other desktop web extension too. But we have always been seeking after what is the new simplified definition that the next generation of the users want, and we need to adapt to it. So if someone were following us, we recently have a UI UX revamp and a brand refresh. This is more than just aesthetic. One small example I will share is that it's also very functional. The bright blue color, as you see on the screen, we got the feedback from some of our hardcore community that, oh, it's so bright that it hurts the eyes. Sure, it might not be most aesthetically pleasing, but that's the color that's AA compliant, meaning that for people who are visually not the most capable, are also be able to see in a clear manner so that they can use the product with confidence. Simple things like this, every detail matter. How are you building for every interaction, for everyday people to increase the accessibility is also very important for innovation in our perspective. But it's also more than just our own product. If we propel our mission to increase the bridge, better the adoption for the crypto industry, we believe that more than one bridge is not enough. We need more. And we need more with those platforms that has the trust with the users and better onboard their users to the self-custody, decentralized, on-chain world so they feel the power of the blockchain. So we leverage our tech infrastructure. We build a wallet as a service that's enabling other platforms in the centralized world with the users can also be able to help their users to bridge the blockchain. And we do our first MVP starts with Binance. So if you're following the news, then a few days ago, Binance launched their Web3 wallet, and that is powered on top of our technology and the product. I get asked, are you afraid of competition? Would that mean that, hey, you have more competitors that will steal or grab the users away from you? Maybe in the short term, we might see the metrics changing. Some of the users that might come to us might choose to stay in a centralized platform. But I think if we are looking beyond just the short-term metrics, we're looking at the long-term vision of the industry, that is better for everyone. We get more people coming in through every touch points, through every bridge, and we can serve that bridge. That's going to help to have better user experiences, user journey, conversion, and helps the industry to grow together. And I believe that at that time, we will also be able to grow as well because we consistently to improve our own product, our take for what will be an easy to use and secure wallet. And this is our innovation, is that we want to leverage trust. We want to build trust, not afraid of any barriers that looks like a short-term competition. It's probably going to benefit the industry in the longer term. And then this is my last point to share is how do we bridge between trustless, which is supposed to be the foundation of the industry and the principles when we build the code on the blockchain, to what could be the foundation for scale to human adoption, which is trust. And I will argue that maybe we can consider this principle. Let's build something that allows people to trust, but they have the approach and the venue to verify. And I think that would be the best combination of the both worlds to allow us to cross the chasm. Because to bridge the gap from the early adopter to the wider public, to welcome not just our technology friends, but also our friends, family, and those who are underprivileged that wants to get an opportunity to improve their lives, we must cultivate trust in what seemingly to be a trustless environment. Because we're not just building a technology. Ultimately, we're building for human. And our journey to blockchain is not solely based on the platforms we build, but also the lives we touch, the empowerment we offer, and ultimately the trust we instill to the platform, to the code, to the industry, and beyond. And this journey is about enabling every person to take part in the Web3 venture with a confidence. And that's what I wanted to leave you with. And thank you for being part of the journey. And let's continue to build in a decentralized future rooted in trust.
Thank you, Eowyn. A few questions from the audience. Thank you, that was really good, really insightful, appreciate it. Is it possible to tokenize trust, do you think? And what's your point of view on that?
That's an interesting question. I think I'm just thinking out loud here. Anything that could be tokenized, we probably need to find a way to measure. And then the key question is, can trust be measurable and then be quantified? Mm-hmm. Maybe, maybe not. But maybe we can proxy some of the trusting behavior through user behaviors or certain interactions, and that may be quantifiable. If that's the case, then maybe we can tie the token and the tokenomics along with those behaviors and ultimately enable a proxy of trust through those tokenomics.
I really wish we could tokenize brownie points so that I can get into deficit and then borrow some off my friends. That'd be great, right? Maybe we can make that happen.
Maybe, yeah, but that's what credit system used to wanting to achieve.
I quite like the wallet as a service idea as well. And then, is anyone else sort of coining it that way, or are you guys trying to lead the way with that?
I think in the industry there are also different tries with it, but we are for sure the first to try to do that for centralized exchange. The reason that we do it is because 90% of the users come into the industry, even nowadays, their first touch point are still the centralized platforms. But then 90% of those centralized users, exchange users stay there. And they don't make the further advanced, I would say, upgrade in their player game to come to the on-chain world. But if they don't come or have a taste of the on-chain world, they can't really have a feeling about, oh, wow, I can own my assets on-chain with full transparency. And I think that was also what Binance wants to achieve, is that there are so many trust issues with centralized exchange nowadays. I think people talk about regulations be a solution, but there could be an easy technical solution. It's just users choose to put their assets on chain, and when they want to use centralized exchange product, they can just quickly bridge over, make that happen, and continue to hold their assets on chain with their own full control. Wouldn't that be a better experience? So that's a hypothesis that our take to productionize of the wallet as a service concept is trying to practically onboard the majority of the users on the centralized world to have the taste of a decentralized self-custody experience. And maybe from there, they will experience more. They will try different apps, and they will try interactions, but we need that first steps, and that's how I'll try.
Cool. This is an interesting one. How does Trust Wallet actually make money?
So we make money actually not from the users, but from the partners that we work. And that's my belief, is that for our industry to be true, I think every utility sector in the industry are exploring their own product market fit from the business model. I think traditionally the chains can kind of get the gas, the DEXs can do a little bit of the service fees, that is where when the industries can figure out the product market fit for their utility cases as a bridge for us, which is to bridge the users to those dApps, then we take our value part of the share from the businesses that we bring to the partners. Then I think, so for us to grow more on a business sense or revenue sense, it means our industry also needs to do much better creatively in each of their own utility cases to figure out what's the ultimate product market fit for businesses rather than just projects. When that happened, we as a traffic gateway platforms can also thrive along with it. And I think that helps us to keep a very collaborative and open-minded mindset rather than competing and grabbing the market share from the partners that we work with by going to their own space. We help everyone to thrive, and then we also grow revenues accordingly.
That's really interesting. Obviously, we're now in there's a lot of generational wealth transferring at the moment. Mm. With that in mind, how would you explain what Trust Wallet does to your mum?
My parents did ask me about how to get access to Bitcoin recently, but they have a lot of barriers to get to Bitcoin in whichever financial systems or geographical systems that they're in. So right now, I do handhold them to keep the 12-word secret phrase safe, but we're also doing experiments that I think the 12-word secret phrase will get obsolete relatively soon. But my parents are still living my user journey at the moment with my hand-holding.
Yeah, it's tricky, hey?
Yeah.
My mum thinks I work for Google, and I'm like,
okay.
I don't.
Does she trust Google? Will she hold her secret phrase on Google?
She can't even change her browser settings, poor thing.
Okay.
Any final questions from the floor? All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Eowyn.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Cheers.